We're going to go through the top 5 ways to save thousands on your car insurance policy. Car insurance these days is really expensive. And just like everything else these days, the cost of living, the cost of groceries, the cost of petrol, everything's going up. So some of these tips and tricks that we're going to go through have saved me almost 50% on some of my insurance quotes. So let's get started. All right, so probably the biggest hack out of all of them, this is the biggest one to pay attention to. So the next time that you're getting a new insurance policy, set the start date of whenever you need the policy, 3 weeks in advance plus the next Sunday. So whenever the next Sunday is from 3 weeks. For some reason, car insurance seems to be cheaper if it starts on a Sunday. I think it's a less risky thing. Anyway, and I guarantee you'll save at least 25 to 30% straight away. I believe it's due to the fact that car insurers believe that if you need a new insurance policy that day, then you're a high risk compared to someone that's organized that needs it in 3 weeks. So that's probably the biggest tip. The next tip that I would say is, if you can, add an additional driver. So add an additional driver to your policy, someone who would actually likely be driving your car at least once in the next particular year that the policy is active. This could be your mum, your dad, or a friend. But the more people that you have added to the policy, the insurance views this as a lower risk, just due to the fact that there's more people who are going to be driving the car. And it's just like whenever you borrow one of your friend's cars, or I don't know, a partner's car, you're a little bit more gentle on it compared to if it was your car, if you know what I mean. So always try and add an additional driver if you can. The third tip that you should use when you're next getting your car insurance policy is you'll have to list your occupation and your job title as part of getting an insurance policy, car insurance policy. So try and play around with what other titles that are applicable for your current occupation are. So for example, changing your policy from computer science compared to working in IT. I was having a look into it, and there's about a 10% saving if you work in computer science compared to IT, even though they're kind of the same thing. So you'll need to change. So play around with the occupation and also the job title. But it's really important that you don't lie and you actually choose something that is applicable to what you do, because if you lie on your insurance, if you lie to your insurance, then there's a good chance that you won't be covered if you need to submit a claim, and then it just questions the whole point of even having insurance in the first place. So yeah, don't lie, but play around with different job titles and occupations that are actually applicable to you, and you can often save up to 10 to 15% on this as well. The next one that I would say is really important is to choose a car that's a little bit unusual, because insurance premiums are based on the amount of cars that have submitted claims. So if you're in a Toyota Corolla or a Mazda 3, they're two of the most common hatchbacks ever sold. So you want to try and choose a car that's like either a common car, but it's a limited edition variation, or it's just a rare car. So for example, a BMW 330i E90, the quote that I got was about $3,000 to insure that, whereas the same BMW Z4 that's got the same engine, it's a different car, but it's essentially very, very similar with the same engine. It was just over $1,000. So it was about a third of the price. And that's because the BMW Z4 is very rare compared to the normal 3 Series, where they make hundreds of thousands of them. So try and choose a bit of an oddball rare car. And well, obviously you should buy the car that you want, but if you can try and get one that's a bit odd, that'll definitely save you some cash. The last and final tip for today is, whenever you're looking at car insurance, you should use the comparison websites, like Compare the Market or Compare the Meerkat, whatever that is, for example. But if you are going to do that, try and use a VPN and use a private browser and turn off your cookies, because the insurers know that often you're cross-shopping between different insurance companies, especially on the comparison websites. So don't do too many quotes. Like, do a couple quotes and then leave it a week, and then do a couple more quotes and then leave it a week, or I don't know, depending on depending on how much you can be bothered. But ideally, you should do a couple quotes and then leave it about a week, and then do a couple more, and then get it all teed up. So yeah, so that's the final tip of today. But using these tips is crucial, and you can save yourself, like I saved myself over 50% from applying all of these tips to my car insurance policy. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that this video was helpful. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. The next video is going to be, it's going to be an interesting one. It'll explain a lot about why I haven't been posting that much, which, to be honest with you, I don't really need to tell you why I haven't posted very much, but I'm going to do it anyway because it'll clear a few things up. If you look at my most recent YouTube short, that'll give you a bit of a sneak peek of what to expect. So yeah. See you in a bit.